In this episode, people empower men and women to see the value in each other. They teach us how to empathize with the opposite sex.
So I have a public service announcement for all of my married men out here. This gonna make you feel some type of way, but you gotta hear this God-honest truth and this God-honest accountability. Understand, if you're cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your children. If you're cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your children also. Because you are betraying the love and the trust and the innocence and the functionality and stability of your household. So yeah, when you're cheating on your wife, you're cheating on your children, especially when that marriage ends in divorce. Now your children has to get used to a household over here temporarily with you, and they have to find a level of normalcy with their mother. You've cheated them out of a two-parent stable household. And you've broken their mother. Because through all of that sadness, anger, sorrow, depression, all of that, grief, she has to find a way to piece it together and mother your children. You don't think your kids gonna feel that on the back end? Because of you. You cheated your son out of seeing a solid man with integrity, with morals, with character. Seeing a God-fearing man love his mother like Christ loved the church. You cheated your son out of that. Understanding what a real man is. You've cheated your daughter out of seeing what love is supposed to be and what love is supposed to look like from a man. That's what you've done. We have too many men out here that do not fear God. That's so far removed, you don't even fear the wrath of God. I have a praying wife. Is my wife perfect? No. But she is a praying wife, and she is a trying wife. She is a godly wife. And I fear losing my family. I cannot tell my son to his face, I'm the reason why our family is no longer together. I can't do that. I can't see myself doing that. I can't see myself telling the same thing to my daughter. I can't do that. And also, you've tarnished your legacy when you cheat on your wife and you cheat on your children. You've destroyed your legacy. Your legacy is watered down now. So understand this. When you cheat on your wife, you cheated on your children.
Nobody handed me a manual on how to be a good husband, so I did the work to define and to become what that means to me and for my marriage. I didn't have a father to show me how to lead, communicate, or love my wife the way she needed. But that didn't mean I couldn't figure it out. I read the books, I asked the questions, paid for coaching, I paid attention, and I made the effort. Because at the end of the day, not knowing something isn't an excuse to stay the same, in my opinion. If you want to be better for yourself and your marriage, you have to be willing to go get the whatever knowledge and understanding you need no matter what, then apply it and do your best to grow from it. This is just where I'm at with it, and of course I hope this perspective serves you well, and if it doesn't, that's fine too.
I didn't have a present father. I didn't have active male role models to be able to teach me how to be able to love a woman the way that she needs to be loved, or how to be a husband and all of that stuff. But I was fully capable of controlling what I could control.
Right.
For example, when we were early on in our marriage, I got How to Win Friends and Influence People so that way I could better learn how to communicate. I started reading more. We started doing all of these things to where we could work on it. Shoot, from trainings and taking classes and courses, all these different things. Like, we would go above and beyond to learn the skill set and then bring that back to our marriage.
Yes.
Like, I mean, countless hours of audio books. And then not only just listening or reading the books, but coming back to each other and be like, all right, baby, I learned this. Or us reading the books together and then talking about what each other learned and what it means to us and how we could implement that stuff in our marriage. And like, we started teaching ourselves how to be what each other needed in our marriage. But we never gave each other excuse. If there was something we didn't know, we can Google it. We can look it up. We can find it in a book. We can ask somebody. We can look at a course. We can do something. We can control what we can control. And I love the fact that even long before any of this, most of this stuff was like 10 plus years ago.
Literally.
And we were that willing at that time to figure it out and to just love each other in a way to where we were able to just care for each other through the process and not get offended and upset and be patient with each other and just do what we could do with no guidance. Something had to be God. Like gave us the mentality to use what we had, and what we had was enough. And there was the willingness to go look for the answer.
Yes.
Even if we didn't have the answer to what does it mean to be a present and attentive and loving and caring spouse, we had the wisdom to go and find out.
Yes.
And that was enough.
Right.
I want to encourage you that no one is perfect when they get married. It's okay to get married with flaws and grow together. And it's easier to grow together and give each other grace in the process when you marry your match and treat each other kindly.
You don't have to be perfect to get married. And men should not be looking for perfect women, and women should not be looking for perfect men, because no one starts out that way and no one ends up perfect. I've been married 36 years. I'm still not there. And when I think about who you should look for in a spouse, I can think of really stellar characteristics, but I wasn't all those things when I got married. I was only 24. So I've been thinking about it this weekend. I would say first and foremost, marry someone who shares your faith. But second of all, marry someone who's kind. Because you have to treat one another with kindness to live together and love one another and be good friends. And all the other things, I mean, they come along with it and they make how unique we are. But you can do that. You can find a kind woman or a kind man.
A good wife is rare because most men don't know how to recognize her value. She's not perfect. She's powerful. She builds with you, not against you, respects you, but won't let you settle. If you have her, protect her. If you want her, become the man who deserves her. Kings, do you know her value? Queens, are you her?
What's a good wife? A good wife isn't perfect. She's present. She respects you publicly, challenges you privately. She holds you accountable when you're wrong, celebrates you when you win. She doesn't compete with your mission. She fuels it. She's soft with you, but strong for the world. She builds the home while you build the empire. A good wife doesn't make life easier. She makes you better. Learn the difference. And a man who has her knows she's not just his woman. She's his peace and his power.
We are in a gender war right now. Men and women are being intentionally divided. And the only way out is through connection. Because when we're divided, we don't see each other, we don't feel for each other. And we don't have empathy for one another. When we actually interact, we then begin to understand each other's struggles. And that is why connection is the most important work we can be doing right now.
Right now, we are in a gender war. I ask young women all the time, do you have friends that are men? Oftentimes the answer is no. And then they take a step back and they're like, wait, you're right. I don't know what happened. We are being intentionally divided. And when we're divided, we don't see each other. We don't feel for each other. We don't have empathy for one another. When we actually interact, in many ways socially, we then understand one another's struggle and we see our struggle in one another. And that is the work, the most important work that we have to do right now. Oftentimes the conversation is, well, how do we debate better? How can you debate when you're not even connected? The first thing you got to do is actually connect. And then you can talk about how we argue better. But there's a missing step that needs to come first that we're not paying attention to.
So we have to be mindful of this whole gender war content that a lot of us consume on a day-to-day basis. Because just like how rap music is toxic for kids, a lot of this gender war content is toxic for adults. You notice how a lot of these shows and a lot of these podcasts, it's in bad faith. They position men on one side of the table, they position women on the other side of the table. It's no conflict resolution and no accountability. On both sides, they look at each other through the lens of, that's my ex-girlfriend, that did me wrong. That's my ex-boyfriend or my baby daddy that I'm not over. It's in all bad negative faith. You have to be mindful as adults, this negative content that we soak in, because you're living through people's trauma and their stories that they experience. You might not have even experienced, but you may have a small similarity, because when you engage in those type of shows or whatever, you constantly pulling the scab off. You just got to be mindful of soaking up all that negativity. Just so tired of this damn gender war, I don't know what to do.
Marriage is hard, but because your marriage is hard does not give you a license to divorce your spouse. We've been so accustomed to walking away from what makes us uncomfortable that we forget we make promises at the altar to each other. There is no marriage that is easy, and what you get out of that marriage is the result of what you invest into that marriage. God never promised that marriage would be easy. God never promised that you would like your spouse every single day. But what God says is, if you bring me into that relationship, two become one. Two becoming one is difficult work. Shoot, going on a road trip with your spouse and they think they know the directions is difficult work. Because the enemy hates marriage. And he works overtime to keep you at odds with each other. And he does so by twisting the narrative of what you hear so that you react a certain way to your spouse.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode, and please stay tuned for more.